Welcome again to our course on biodesign, strategies for innovation and design on bioengineering. Today we're going to take a look at the concept screening part of our course. So before doing this, you have to remember that we saw this idea of brainstorming and concept generation. So after you have done your brainstorming sessions and that you have come up with a lot of concepts that you want to screen and filter down, you are supposed to do this process that we're going to take a look at in this class. All right, so first in slide 2, we can see our objectives for this specific class. I want you to understand how to cluster or organize, the output of the brainstorming sessions so that all the information that you have gathered is clear and presented in a meaningful way. And also you have to think that all this information and different concepts might have been put into the table in the brainstorming session in a very unthorough or unexplored way. But by the time that you filter down the concepts, you are supposed to have already analyzed what the concepts really mean and what the concepts really involve, so that you can do and cluster all this. You can cluster and filter down all these needs, on all these concepts of solutions. After that, I want you to learn how to objectively compare solution concepts. And this is something that it's going to be really, really interesting, because what we're going to do is that we're going to try to compare the concept that we have generated with the need specifications that we have already detected from previous sessions on this course, to determine which concepts are the best and which ones we have to pursue. Okay, so if we go to slide 3, we can take a look again at this ideation process chart. We have started with a lot of needs that we have filtered down so that we know what are the ones that we want to solve. Remember that these needs can be all put together in a single big need, that it's the one that you want actually to solve. And each single small part of the need can have a different concept solution, and we can combine these different concept solutions towards one single complex solution for a problem. In the last class, we saw how to diverge from the needs to a lot of concepts in a brainstorming and ideation session. But now we're going to try to go towards the end of this chart, filtering down towards the best concepts to go forward and develop. So if we go to slide 4, we can see a very good way to filter down and cluster these concepts that we have already come up with. For that, we have this example from the biodesign book in a less invasive method to treat morbid obesity. So as you can see here, there are many types of solutions and concepts that we could use to solve this problem, And they could be clustered into many different groups. So there are the pharmacological solutions, there are the intake regulation solutions. They are the ones that increase the energy expenditures, the one that reduce or reduce your motivation to eat or increase your motivation to spend energy, and the ones that are non-physiological, like liposuction or other types of surgery that just get rid of the fat you have. In this sense, there are many ways in which you can do these types of charts. But something interesting that you can do is that after filtering down some of the best concepts, you can do this chart, but you can also do this type of chart since the very beginning. So to map all the different concepts that you have already done, and you can take away all the concepts that are either non-feasible or that cannot be clustered in something because you don't know how they work, or you don't know how you're going to solve them, or maybe because there is no interest on tackling on creating such a solution. So for example, let's think that one of the crazy solutions that came from the brainstorming session was to destroy the patient and change his or her whole body towards a robotic body, right? So let's think for a second that one of the solutions want to change that, to translate that person's mind towards a fitter body, and even though that could be in some context and sci-fi situations could be something really interesting and attractive, it could be that for many stakeholders it could be just a silly solution, and some types of solutions that you couldn't even cluster on a type of clinically relevant group. So in this sense, even though brainstorming sessions encourage you to come up with the craziest, biggest ideas possible, if you cannot cluster them, then you might not be really able to filter them down. Or if there are no clusters that you think fits for that specific need, then you create new clusters, which might bring new disruptive markets into the table. Okay. If we go to slide 5, you can see here another type of way of clustering and arranging different concepts. In this case, this really looks like a MapMind chart. And with this, the only single thing that you have to consider is that there might be solutions that relate to other solutions. So there might be a big solution, and that big solution can be complemented with a lot of small concept solutions that have been brought in the brainstorming session. And the important thing about this is that by arranging concepts in a hierarchical way, you can think about combining different concepts or grabbing the concept that has the largest branch to solve the biggest part of the problem. Nonetheless, probably one of the most important things when thinking about filtrating concepts, like the one shown here in slide 6, is that ideation has to be open and divergent, but then filtering has to be funneling, to be selective. Nonetheless, in these first stages of concept selection, before even going into thorough filters of evaluating the most important parts of the IP and analyzing the market really thoroughly and regulatory affairs and all that, one of the most important things to do is to create sort of like a big colander pinpointing, which you can truly select unpromising, truly get rid of the unpromising concepts, because what is going to happen is that those concepts that really don't have any value, and there are many that are going to come that way in a brainstorming session, sometimes block your capacity to actually select the ones that are the most valuable. So first, when thinking on filtering ideas and concepts of solutions, try to think on a colander to get rid of the most unfeasible or unattractive concepts that are, in order for you to focus your filtering and evaluation capacity on the concepts that are really that are at least of some degree of importance. And with that, you can do all our process that we have discussed about and select the projects in which you want to work. And by projects, I mean the solution concepts or the group of solution concepts that you have already come up with and selected. And with this, we can conclude our session on concept screening. My name is Luis Soengsen, and thank you for watching. All right, so if you stay long enough in this session of concept screening, you are going to enter into the practical case part. Today, we are going to take a look at the spinal stenosis problem and how some concept solutions were brought to light, and one that was filtered down, and that I believe it's pretty interesting, and that actually I believe one in which IDEO, I believe, was involved. So what is spinal stenosis? If you go to slide 8, you can see that spinal stenosis is basically the reduction on the area that it's available for the spinal cord to run in. And basically it happens because of an inflammation of the nerves, or because of buildup of bone material or other type of materials within the spinal cord, basically pressing some of the terminals or even the spinal cord in a very painful way. There are many people suffering from this, and basically it's a very debilitating disease that is currently treated by opening the spine wide open and by chopping down part of the spine to reduce the pressure in this region. One of the things that was commonly done is to get rid of a section of the bone, the section specifically that was pressing the nerve down. And one of the critical issues about this is that the stability of your spinal cord and of your vertebra is actually determined by the integrity of the lumbar section of your body, in this term the cord. And by chopping down some of the bone that it's including these bone structures, you are actually debilitating this anatomical part. And this is less than ideal, since the only thing that you want is to increase the size of the space in which the cord is running into, but by no means reducing the capacity of the spine to support the body's weight. With this in mind, there was a company called Baxano Surgical that worked with IDEO in the creation of a new product called the Ioflex. And what the Ioflex does is basically take the idea of sewing or sandblasting a product in another industry into a medical product. So think for a minute in sanding something. You take a raw piece of material, and then over it you have something that can cut down little pieces of that material, and basically you can sew down and reduce the amount of material that there is in that specific body. And that has been used in many industries, from cutting wood to many places, mechanical engineering. And basically the idea was to insert some way, in a minimally invasive way, a sanding mechanism, so that you can enter into that section of the spine that it's pressing into one of the spinal cord terminals in a safe way, and then move back and forth that device so that you are sanding the bone out and taking out the bone from that hole or hollow structure that should be open for the cord to run with. And basically what Baxano did with the Ioflex is to create justly a minimally invasive tool that could be safely inserted into one of the most common sections of spinal stenosis. The Ioflex mechanism was able to create a semi-loop that when grabbed in the right way and moved in the right way, was able to sand the excess of bone that was that had been built up in the spinal, basically liberating the pressure, the mechanical pressure in the spinal cord, without getting rid of any significant bone volume, thus not altering the mechanical stability overall of the spinal vertebra. With this, I believe Baxano has already solved in a greater way a very big problem that is very debilitating and that actually causes many individuals to avoid working because of the pain in a very minimally invasive fashion, and by using and cross-pollinating with ideas that were brought to other industries. And with that, we have concluded our practical case of today on concept screening. My name is Luis Soengsen, and thank you for watching.